Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 5v5 custom match here on the map Delta RIVA. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. We'll start with Team 1 on the northwestern side of the map, and with Team 2 on the southeastern side of the map. Taking a look at Team 1's rear guard sub player we have in Snow White. It is Flying 9 Dutchman 9. He's playing as a Seraphim for this match as a 1200. Moving on eastward, we have in orange color orange, it is Ysball playing as a UEF. He is a 1200. In a lighter shred pink to his east, we have as a UEF as well, it is icysnowmen. He again is in lighter shred pink as a 700. Moving on westward, we have as a Seraphim, it is chaospyr. He is a 1700. He is also in imperial gray, which means he's also the highest rated player on Team 1 and tied for the highest rated player overall. And sharing an island with him to the south, rounding off Team 1, is DeTandlarts. Probably DeTand for short, because I will probably butcher, and probably did already butcher the last half of his name. So it is DeTand for short. He is in emerald green as a 1600 as a Cybran. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 1 Cybran, 0 Aeon, and 2 Seraphim. Moving on to Team 2's regular side player we have in Batman Gray. It is EsmoNoob. He's playing as a Cybran. He is a 1300. To his west, we have in Brobey Pink. It is Brobey playing as a UEF. He is a 1400. In Pac-Man Yellow to his northwest, we have Luckyben. He is a UEF for this match as a 900. In Blood Angel Red, it took me a second because I was going to say Ruby Red. It is Brammel. He's playing as a 1700. He is the highest rated player on Team 2 and tied with Team 1's chaospyr for the highest rated player overall. Again, he is in Blood Angel Red. If I say it enough times, I think I'll cement it into my brain. And last but not least, for Team 2, sharing an island with him, it is Mielus. Needs how to say his name. He is in Regal Purple as a Seraphim as a 1500. So for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 2 UEF. They also only have 1 Cybran. They also have no Aeon. And they also have 2 Seraphim. So it is the exact same faction makeup for both sides of the map. Maybe not exactly the same placement of each faction, but again, the makeup is the exact same, which means apologies will have to go out to those Lords of the Princess. You're not in this game. Hopefully you enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 10 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 48,000 mass in reclaim, which makes it almost 5k mass per player. And there are, of course, the major clumpages to be concerned about, especially the middle islands here and here. We already see a couple of players, one from each team, moving in to claim their territory there. There also is a 2,000 clumpage up there, and then, of course, some reclaim in the corners. There is some easy-to-grab reclaim towards the players' starting locations, but again, the majority of the reclaim resides in the middle, which we definitely like because it forces players to engage one another, or at least the units to engage one another. And in terms of the comm distribution, so far, again, it is a heavy naval map, so maybe convicom action will happen here and here, but that's probably going to be about it. This also is a decent population of Hell, HEL players in terms of their tag, so most likely their communication is going to be strictly in some sort of Discord voice call situation, so just be aware of that. There may be still some communication in the chat, but it looks like it's going to be, again, more limited because of that. We do see gun upgrade started here for Team 2's Luckyben on the western side. And again, he is unopposed so far. We even see Brammel coming in to assist as well. And so far, Team 1's icysnowmen is by himself for now. We do see the comm of Mielus is over here to the east. I don't think he'll move there. And yes, there are a couple of independent structures in the middle of the map, but they're not too bad. A couple of, Team 1 emplacements and their nice little radar system, but nothing too crazy, honestly, for our players to deal with. Gun upgrade almost done for Luckyben in the south. We do see Team 1 has grabbed the southwestern corner for the most part. We do see a couple of hunters going after some interceptors, trying to take a break from all of that flying around. Northeastern corner, a little bit more of a tug-of-war situation. Both teams have dropped units here. We do see a nice little Cybran independent communication system thing. Nice little, essentially, Cybran logo for the most part, kind of mixed in there. So, again, nothing too concerning in terms of the civilian structures. We even see Team 1's icysnowmen. It's just going to tank some of that damage, to be honest. Looks like he's dealt with most of the annoying stuff. There's one more T1 PD. Overcharge comes off, kills off that one pretty quickly, and that's the end of that emplacement. Another feature of this map are the two little mountains that have the holes in them, which means at least somebody on each team, hopefully on each team, maybe the same team. There's a trimix position that's pretty well nestled up there. Really, it's going to be bombers and maybe cruiser missiles that can shoot up into that. In terms of the regular guns on board, Team 1 to T3 vessels, you're not going to be able to shoot that far up and over to be able to actually land onto those structures. So it's going to be a little bit more of a more indirect weapon system to deal with. Or unless you're dealing with bombers, that also works too. We don't see any, realistically, more movement out from most of the players. We do see chaospyr is hitting southward. He is going to try to make landfall. I don't know if that's going to work, considering Luckyben, A, has a gun already online, and B, there really isn't much that Team 1 has already here to be able to help. He is going to go for a little bit of that reclaim, but maybe too little too late at this point. We do see DeTan up here to the north. Looks like he might be joining his teammate on that western side. Mielus did try to send some units, but that got denied. And like I said, I just don't think it's going to go anywhere in terms of the land situation. It is heavily naval focused in this map. It's just lots of water. We do see a couple of actual naval vessels, subs inbound from chaospyr, moving into this T2 naval headquarters online for Brobey. He might go for Coopers pretty quickly. He is going for those T2 engineers first. Looks like some buzz kills are going to be built. I don't know if he needs that TMD. I don't think there's any TMLs anywhere within range. Maybe he built the wrong thing. Maybe he tried to build a T2 torp launcher and didn't build the thing that he thought that he built. We do see those Team 1 subs are inbound, and we do see another facility going to be established for him, so it looks like that's going to be slowly denied for Team 2. We do see T2 Navy is online in the east as well for Mielus, and looks like only 2 naval players so far in this game. Team 1, we have obviously chaospyr, and we do see a facility online for Tedan. Oh, well, okay, we also see a facility up here to the north and one here. Okay, it looks like almost everybody on Team 1's in the naval game. I was like, I feel like Team 2 needs more naval players than just 2. Technically, to be fair, Luckyben is focusing on land for that, section of a map down there in the southwest. The chaospyr did take some damage from their engagement. Luckyben, nothing really too worried about, just chip the paint. For the most part, Team 2 and Team 1 still holding on to their sections of that map to the northeast. Not one team able to knock out the other one just yet, but we do see some interceptors. Maybe that'll help out a little bit. And we do see Team 2 has no claim over here in the southwest, and even a couple of subs being built out of this very frontline facility, just slowly spamming units over here to the east. It looks like T2, T1 torp launchers were built earlier. Don't know what that gun from the Valiant was doing, but he was shooting at a spy plane or something that was resting on the ground. And Team 2, in terms of naval building, not looking super great for now. We do see T2 Navy still was the focus here from Team 2. He is pumping out some destroyers now, but again, Team 1 has destroyers, and now with the additional subs here, that is just a win for Team 1 just easily, just by the numbers alone. And that destroyer is going to go back and group up with a compatriot or two and maybe try to push. We do see Team 1's chaospyr is actually on a smidgen of the land over here in the southwest, just hanging out. Looks like a couple of civilian structures were there, so he just grabbed some easy to harness reclaim. We do see a couple of those slivers. I do forget, did he overcharge them? No, he didn't. I don't think he overcharged them via just seeing where they were in the water. I think he actually shot at them directly. At least I thought he did. If they were shooting at him for a moment, can they merge? They can submerge. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I think those ones can do it as well as those Ysball. So they have some cannons on board. They did do damage to the comm of Luckyben, but Luckyben's now on 1-star vet, so maybe not as an easy fight. Next time we do see a destroyer versus, again, a handful of subs, and that is going to favor the handful of subs. 1 destroyer versus all of that. There's some torp defense on board those Valiants, but not a whole lot. The subs for Team 1's Cybern player of Tadan don't have torp defense, but again, you can see they're just chewing up that destroyer very, very quickly. Looks like a lot of Team 1 is just subs, and then maybe a couple of destroyers here for chaospyr for now. We do see those numbers are starting to favor Team 2 now, at least in terms of the destroyer count, and they do kill off another one of those Team 1 subs. We do see now that northeastern corner is starting to be kind of isolated a little bit, at least in terms of Navy. There's a couple of frigates and a sub inbound, but 3 destroyers is more than enough to deal with that. Speaking of destroyers, Team 2 still has to deal with all these subs from Tadan, and that destroyer is now down. Again, it's not really favoring necessarily either player one way or the other, but we do see a nice little Cooper's online now from his teammate of Lucky, and that should be more than enough to assist with dealing with the remaining of these subs. Those engineers just, they straight up just reclaimed the subs. That's always fun, I guess. Northern side of things, we do see a couple of spy planes flying about. Nothing too crazy there. Again, T2 Navy also online. Going straight for T3, it looks like, or pretty much straight for T3. For Team 1's Ysball, maybe some Neptunes are in his future. Lovely to see those units, of course. Middle of the map, we do see subs getting into it with those destroyers. And again, it's just a numbers game at this point. And yes, the sub is underneath the surface of the waves, but the amount of DPS coming off all those torpedoes are just going to outnumber and outgun that thing very, very quickly. Southwestern corner, we do see it's not going to favor Team 2 in any ways. There's 4 destroyers versus 1 Cooper and a destroyer, so not really a lot of firepower to play with there for now. We do see, again, more Coopers are running around, and there is 1 destroyer that has submerged from the waters, or at least has just been that way for a while. Cooper is within range to take out that Ysball T2 destroyer. Shots are inbound. They don't kill it off. The Cooper does survive, so nice job there. There is another destroyer online for Team 2's Brammel. So it looks like we have 4 players in Navy for Team 2 now. We do see air expansions for Team 2, and I would expect Team 1, as we speak, because that's just what they do in those corners of the map. We do see a slight maybe favor for Team 1, but maybe that's just because those ASFs are hiding on top of one another for Team 2. It's 15, so about a dozen for math purposes versus essentially a dozen. So maybe 1 good turn for either team means victory in air, and that's regardless of, if you want Team 1 or Team 2 to win the air fight at this point. We do see a bigger fleet is inbound. Nice little bulwark mixed in, and some cruiser missiles as well, shooting at, probably should be shooting at the facilities because they don't move. The other destroyers and units move, so might want to shoot at that for more guaranteed damage. And still looks like kind of a stalemate for the Northeast for now. Looks like neither player wants to push in yet. Facility tried to be established and was denied one way or the other. I would imagine that was Team 2's attempt. No, that's Seraphim and UEF Tech. That's a Cybern facility. And it looks like that might just be straight up a reclaim. The starting reclaim, maybe. Yeah, because there's that wouldn't be on the surface. That'd be in the water. So yeah, that's definitely starting reclaim there. T3 started on board. Brobey's come in the south. We have T3 Navy online for Team 1 going straight for those Yassos, the all-annoying and glorious Yassos as they are. Neptune, the dual laser cannon, nonsensical units. I love those things. Pair those with some Yassos, pair those with some Summits, and it's just a not good time for that other team. T2 being built very quickly on board EsmoNoob's comm. And straight for T3. Yep, there it is. So trying to get a little bit more hit points. And, of course, engineering power on board the comm. T3 also started for Brobey. You might upgrade the T3 shortly. You might want to swap the build orders. That one build the T3, and that one just keep building T2 units just to keep something flowing onto the front lines. And it looks like Team 2's player of Luckyben upgrading to T3. It looks like he's pretty much funding at least some of the support on that western side for Brobey, while it's just a one-person affair to the land. Sorry, to Dan. I can't say his name right. T2 Naval Headquarters is knocked offline. That is unfortunate. Was that a headquarters or was that a regular one? Maybe that was a regular one. But there's a headquarters up here, so at least there's that. So even if that was a headquarters, the main one is there. So nice grab there. It's something knocked out flying on the front line for Team 1, for Team 2 to not have to deal with anymore. But Team 1 had a backup, so that's, backups are important. Team 2 has finally claimed the northeastern corner. It looks like we might see a similar pushing in and falling back for maybe Team 1 for now. We do see that those facilities and units for IC are stacking up relatively close to that aperture, so it's not a terrible issue. And there's also a Neptune up here, and that's not going to go very well for, at least if the destroyers pop out of the water, it's not fun for them. They stay in the water, it should be fine for them. Again, the Neptune does have torpedoes and torp defense on board, but if Team 2's units can clobble together and make sure they have overlapping defense, I mean, yeah, they are going to take some damage, but not as much damage as that Neptune is currently taking and will probably continue to take until things improve. And we do see it. Look at all of those torpedoes. They're like missiles, but they're in the water, just constantly firing from both sets of fleets. Again, there are Yassos baked into that fleet with Team 2 as well, so it's just going to be a just torpedo affair down there. T1 spam on the south just to assist with maybe just, again, being cannon fodder for Team 2. There's a decent fleet of destroyers inbound from Team 1's to Dan. I will note it is 24 minutes almost on the clock, and nobody has died yet. Lovely to see that. I say that, and then someone's going to die immediately. There is a now summit online. Looks like some either donations from somebody on Team 1, or he does have his own UEF. Looks like maybe donations in terms of gifting over technology. Maybe he had an issue with that Seraphim facility and moved it over slightly. But the summit, honestly, could just continue to be bombarded by torpedoes. Don't know why he's being too cautious. I mean, he's, again, trying to be somewhat cautious because maybe Team 1 has a surprise in store. But for now, I mean, there's nothing nearby that Team 1 can do to deal with this. Looks like some ground firing trying to happen, but it's starting to work. But again, that takes up APM and time and effort, and sometimes you just don't have enough of any of those things to really make it worth it, but sometimes you do. Just depends on what you value and what you're focused on and whatnot. We do have an Atlantis moving into position here for Brobey. So T4 technology online, second one already online. And I sense a trend. Another one online for Team 2's. Yeah, I definitely sense a trend for Team 2. There's one online for Team 1. It's oh, okay. Well, I think that's where we know where this game's going in Navy, at least. Team 1, you building anything sighted in the background at 25 minutes? No. Team 2, building anything sighted in the background? Oh, there's a nuke. There is a nuke almost online. Online for Team 2's EsmoNoob. Does Team 1 know about it? No, they do not. Do they have SMD online? I don't think so. Oh, they have one up here. They have one over here? They do not have one over here. There's a nuke going to be built in the corner of the map as well. So it looks like both teams want to end the game sooner rather than later. And at this point in the game, 26 minutes is about the halfway mark, maybe a little bit over that. It is still a 5v5 game. Nobody is dead yet. Yet being the key word in that statement. Team 1's eco 1.3. Team 2's 1.765. 3, whatever the song is. 630, whatever, yeah, however that song goes. But anyway, Team 2 is in the lead for eco. It's 100, 200, maybe some amount of mass. But Team 1, and while I'm talking about this, loses the comm of icysnowmen. And actually, it's not a complete departure for him because it is a decapitation game where everybody on one team has to be eliminated before it's a complete win in terms of comms. Which, I mean, it's technically a 5v4, still in favor for Team 2 for comms alive. But in terms of players, icysnowmen's still in it. And here comes the nuke. Is it going to keep going? It's going to keep going. And is there an yes, there is an SMD. Is it loaded? No, it is not. And that nuke is going to land. And I'll slow it down just a second to watch all of that gloriness happen. It is, he's in range. He's in range. Kills off the nuke being built. Boom. Nice grab there. Kills off almost the entire air grid. There is a secondary one being built. Couple of mexes, four mexes being fair, and the nuke that was started. Team 2 scores a glorious amount. Actually, that is the wrong nuke launcher. That was a Seraphim nuke launcher. Where's that one? It would be... yeah, there it is. 87,000 mass destroyed with that one nuke. Gotta love to see it. That is a huge win for Team 2. And in terms of eco, I was talking about it. It's 300 to 400 mass advantage for Team 2. Take that into calculations of who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't, because why not at this point, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Let's take a look at these Atlantis down here. One of them is dead and gone, but there are still 3 more remaining, and then they're slowly whittling down all of those destroyers. If they pop out, they are super dead. So definitely stay underneath the surface of the waves. That one is dead just from the sheer amount of torpedoes. And again, that is a weakness of the big giant sub that, of course, looks like a torpedo as well. They don't have any torp defense. So it makes it very, very vital that these things stay near units that have torp defense. Then there's another one and another one. There's a summit. There's another one. There's going to be more of them. Maybe all of them. And Team 1 is just like, yeah, we know what you're doing. We don't like it, so we're just going to deal with it. And they are dealing with it. Killed out 2 of them already, and all of that reclaim down there. Actually, that reclaim value is sitting at, 44,000 mass. It's a decent amount of mass to be just able to reclaim very quickly, and they're already doing that now. And Team 2 starting to have a little bit more control over the northeastern corner, starting to push in a little bit. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 Atlantises. There's also another one online for Tedan. He got some UEF tech donated over to him. And again, as a reminder, Flying Dutchman and icysnowmen have lost their comms, but they are still in the game, able to affect the world more than just say, hey, there's a thing there, and ping and whatnot. We do see, again, it's a slow erosion of Team 1, but it's a slow erosion of the Atlantises for Team 2 as well. There's another one being built here. There's another one being built there. There's just so many of them being built by at least the southern players for Team 2. Team 2, northern side, looks like not as much in the experimental tech. Again, there's no Aeon, so there's no Tempest as well. No missile ships also included in that. 6 of them, those Atlantises, are online. Teleporter started for chaospyr. He's been building that for a little ways now. And T3 Air is online for Team 1's Tedan. Probably just for engineers to keep pumping out galaxies, it looks like. That's definitely not a bad play there. And you have a T3 Air headquarters. You can easily pump out torp bombers if need be. We have another one online for chaospyr. He has some air facilities as well. Looks like he's trying to help in the air game as best he can, because, again, the main air grid has been knocked offline and will still be offline for a little while. He's working on it, but it's just taking him a minute. And then over in the east, we do see just so many of them. Just can't stop, won't stop with the lost city of Atlantis, that's for sure. And southwestern side, a little bit more pushback here now for Team 2. Again, there is that Atlantis here for Team 1 now, but it's a 2-to-1 advantage, and most of the destroyers are now gone. It looks like the destroyer spam was working for at least a little bit until the Yassaus came and said absolutely not, and added all that torp defense to that little fleet there and made it even incredibly more annoying to deal with. RAS being injected into the veins of Team 2's player Mielus over there on that eastern front. And those Atlantises are moving. There's so many Yassaus. Both teams, so many Yassaus. And again, that is a good counter to the Atlantis just because, again, does not have torp defense. And here come these torpedoes raining into one another. And look at the hit points just absolutely fall off that thing. Almost like he's losing weight. Just the extreme diet. And there he goes within moments. It's gone. Another nuke inbound from Team 2. This time it is from the Cybran one. SMDs are being built, and he has a satellite being built because why not? Cybran doing UEF things at 32 minutes almost on the clock. Somebody's got to be thinking about a game ender. Just somebody has got to be thinking about it. I mean, there's 2 nukes already online. We have some Zui inbound from Team 2's Mielus to just be even more annoying and just going after maybe some P-gens if they can take out the shielding, which they haven't done yet. Nuke is inbound. SMD will definitely be loaded by then. There's another one there. Does shoot down the first one, or the first nuke at least. Is there another nuke online? Almost, but again, that first one was super important. And now we have 2 Atlantises over here on the southwestern side. And yeah, it's just turning into a little bit of more of a slogfest in the under the surface of the waves. What in the world is this? I did not know you could just send units up the hill like that. That is a first, that's for sure. There's a bunch of flak and Yenzine and whatnot running around. Get some Zooey up there and start peppering that thing. I did not know you could do that. Huh. Did they change that? Because I feel like that didn't used to be like that. But I guess they can do that now. Huh. Anyway. Yeah, those fleets are just getting bigger and bigger with all of those experimental submarine units. Someone's going to be thinking about doing something up, though, because it's going to become it's just like regular naval games. Eventually, it's just going to become a slog of, here's a bunch of battleships. Other team, here's a bunch of battleships, and then let's line them up and shoot at one another. That's kind of what's happening, but just in the sub-game, where it's just a bunch of subs, and a bunch of subs, whether they're T3, T4, T1, T2, whatever, and that's it. Oh, please land on the naval units. That would be glorious, I think. I don't think Team 1 would expect that, to be honest. That might open some doors for moving in the fleet from Team 2. 34 minutes on the clock. Nope, it continues to go. And SMD is not loaded. Nope, this one is, though. It's almost second loaded as well. Shoots it down. So that's going to be 2 SMDs. I'm surprised they're not targeting the bases to the west or to the east. There is an SMD there. It isn't loaded. There's a satellite started for icysnowmen. So Team 1's UEF doing UEF things. This one should be done. That's almost done by now. And no other plans to end the game as of yet. And just look at all of them. It's insane. All the A's on the map. It's like someone went to school and got a bunch of A's on their assignments or something. Just A after A after A. Or 1A. If you've seen the Superman movie. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 8 of them here, and there's 3 of them up there. Oh my goodness. Do we have a baker's dozen of them now? Well, okay, some of those don't count because they're being built. 2 of those don't count. Nope, it's a dozen so far for Team 1's. Just for Ysball alone. Let alone the, 2, 4, 6 of them for DeTan, and there's 4 of them here. There's another one there for Team 2, and another one, so 6 down there. And then there's another 2, 4, 6, 7. Oh, there's so many of them. This won't stop. It won't stop with all of that Atlantis shenanigans. And since both teams are doing it, A, might just come to how fast can one team produce more of them, and B, if the other team is being overwhelmed, can they produce enough torp bombers or other things to shoot them and blow them up and not have to deal with them. So it just might come down to, again, a numbers game, which currently Team 2 has 2 nukes and a satellite, and their numbers are looking pretty good for eco as well. So, and it's not looking too great for Team 1. In terms of added, I pulled up the wrong number. There we go. Team 2 is leading the eco game as well in terms of reclaim, about 20,000 or so. It's about a monkey lord's worth, not a terrible amount, divided by 5 players, but still a chunk. I do find it funny that you can shoot down into that little hole there. Didn't know you could put units on the edge of the, or even just climb them all the way up. Didn't know you could do that. I mean, this I kind of knew about, like having just, ASF or whatever just land, but not literally there. Satellite online for Team 1's icysnowmen as well. Does he have another one? Nope, he's just hanging out. Does he have a PGen next? Stop building PGens next to Novaxes, or stop building Novaxes next to PGens. Like, this is a little bit further away. This I appreciate. No, stop doing that. No. I'm not going to crash out today over that, but still. 3, 6, 7, 8 of them online for Brobey down there in the south. There's 2 more there for Lucky, and then there's another one already online for Brobey. It's going to come down to, I think, one push. That or everything in the Navy is going to be ignored. It's going to be nukes and satellites and artillery or whatever else. Granted, in terms of T3 artillery, we would take a look at Team 1 side because I can see an engineer very quickly. That is not the click I wanted to click. There it is. This is the artillery that could target if it's in his main base. He needs to go at least at this island, and even then it's barely hitting the Novax. You really have to do T4 on this map unless you build a T3 installation in the middle islands, which I don't know which player is going to build T3 artillery here or here. Maybe on the edge. Maybe. But even then, it's probably not going to reach. That is not a T3P. I want. Thank you. Yeah, it's not even going to reach that anyway, so it doesn't even matter. So definitely T4 artillery or nukes, something with infinite range, essentially. And here come those Novaxes right over the top of the other Novax for Team 1. Do we have anything up here to the north? Nope. Anything over here to the northwest? Yep, that's a big one. There it is. And we have engineer support from 2 players for Team 1. Looks like Chaos and Ysball getting into it with assisting with their drones. Again, able to get their eco over there in an easier fashion. We do see an SACU is there now. But is the... Nope, not aware of it. There's not a lot of scouting going down from either team, to be honest, which is not good, because if that YOLO stays unscouted, then Team 2 might be not aware of it, not get enough defenses online in time, and it might just not be a good time for them. Nuke is almost loaded. Another satellite has been started. Another nuke is almost loaded, so we could have a double nukage and just 2 more satellites online for Mielus. We have a satellite targeting, looks like the T3 Seraphim headquarters for now. Looks like it's just taking the couple of pigeons or whatever offline. 38 minutes in climbing, and look at just absolutely insane when it comes to look at them all, look at them all. Look at all of those. Look at all those subs that are acting like just big giant subs. Look at that nonsense. Look at it. It is insane, and there's even more. There's even more of them there. Now the question is Team 2 or Team 1 going to build more Atlantis than they're going to build Yasaus? Because it's starting to get that way. Brammel has currently 18 of them online. His Yasaus are technically a little under double, but still. Nuke is inbound from EsmoNoob. Ooh, that might be a good nuke. Would wipe out everything in the vicinity and actually probably grab that. It might not grab this one, but if those, glorified torpedo-looking, sub-looking things stay there, that nuke is... Oh, it's -1. I was like, why is that nuke moving so slowly? That is why. How's the YOLO doing? YOLO is actually almost done. It's almost in the green already. So Team 1's Flying Dutchman was going to go for small nuke, and now he's going for a bigger nuke, which, again, not a bad idea, to be honest. And here comes the nuke. It's not going to look good for Team 1, or at least for Tadan. He actually moves them forward. Is that going to make a difference, though? No. Kaboom! Wipes out most of that fleet. There's 2 Atlantis remaining. That one's EMP'd for now, and a couple of destroyers, but honestly that is more than enough for Team 2 to deal with. Looks like they lost a couple of their own Atlantis as well. Somebody's got to initiate the fight in the middle, because it's just waiting to happen. Once the nuke goes off, that probably will be it for Team 2. They're probably going to focus on that. We have Team 1 PD being built, T2 PD being built. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's going to come down to can Team 2 even recover from the YOLO at this point, because it might be too late, to be honest. We shall see. Down here in the southwest, Team 2 is pretty much dealt with this at this point, so nothing terrible. But again, it's just a slow part of Navy where it takes a while to get things going. And then once it gets going and then going, once it's kind of past the point of no return, then you start seeing the visual success in terms of, getting ground and killing off units before they get rebuilt and resupplied and whatnot onto the front lines. But here comes the attack in the middle of the map. This is kind of what I've been waiting for. There it is. There they are. All of them for Team 2 Team 1 are actually not in the water. Which, actually, that's not true. They're not under the water, I should say. I was like, wait, they're in the water. That doesn't make any sense, what I just said. But no, they're not actually under the surface of the waves, which honestly would mean that battleships, battle cruisers, those Neptunes, would actually be in a way better way to eliminate all of that, because they would have, well, at least the battle cruisers would have torp defense at a bare minimum. But all of the Yasaus are now gone for the most part. There's a couple of them over there. Actually, they're all hiding, so maybe they're not all gone. But it's just look at this. The slow death of all these units. The flak is being ignored because it's hover. You can't target them anyways. But look at all the yellow dots. Look at all those torpedoes. Ah, there's so many of them. This fight was building up for a while now, and it's finally happening. Torp bombers are inbound. Team 2 might actually, once they're done with this fight, surface most of these and be able to use their AA to great advantage. We do see another nuke's inbound. It is the Super Nuke from the YOLO, and Team 2 has spotted it. They have satellites over top of them, and there's 3 of them over there so far for Team 2. There's another one just that barely online. Does Team 2 have adequate SMDs? No, they don't, because they probably didn't know about the YOLO till super late. And there's the fight. It is 1 for Team 1 in the middle, and this is going to start bleeding in this way or bleeding in northward. Honestly, at this point, you might just need to go all the way over there. But we have some gunships. What? Where's that nuke? Did someone die? I heard an SACU die, or at least what I thought I heard an SACU die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I think that's all the comms for Team 2. Team 1 has 3 left. And looks like the gunships tried to make a play from Team 2. They didn't get far enough, so that's unfortunate, but they did make a play nonetheless. And 1, 2, 3. There's 3 there. There it is. So everybody is still alive for Team 1, at least as of the last time that a comm has been destroyed. And look at this. Look at this huge momentum shift. Again, Team 1 had to pull their subs back just to act as defense. And ceded territory over to Team 2. But again, will it even matter because that YOLO is firing decently quick. That is a massive amount of reclaim there. 357,000 on the map. And then in the middle, it's at least 100,000 in the middle. Just so much reclaim. Satellites looks like they're targeting... They're targeting AA emplacements? I think they're starting to eliminate... Yeah, they're starting to eliminate all the AA emplacements for Team 1. That is interesting. Might allow gunships, strat bombers, that sort of thing to push in. And I don't know the vector that they would use. They might try to use this. This is... Well, the AA is being eliminated in the middle. They might try to fly actually directly over chaospyr's base. And speaking of chaospyr, I don't see his comm. He was here. I don't see him anymore. He should have his comm somewhere. Because I don't think, unless he teleported... Oh, no, he's down here. There he is. He's hiding in the corner of the map where the ARAS and T3, actually he's on Team 2's side of the map. Try to keep track of that. And those Atlantis from Team 2 need to push in while this is happening at the same time. So that way they can just sandwich them and really rip them apart. Another nuke is inbound. It is another super nuke from Team 1. I don't see anything planned for Team 2 as of yet. It is inbound for this base. SMDs are loading decently quick, but it is still taking time. There's a lot of SMDs being built here and trying to be loaded also. I'm surprised that Team 1 didn't target the bases in front of the regular slot player and then move from there. And Atlantis is just getting absolutely denied. They did surface most of them, which means they can use their AA weapons to great effect. But Team 2 is getting bogged down here by all of the stuff. We have torp bombers inbound. Now that fleet is moving from Team 2's Brobey. And Nuke is inbound again, but it's still inbound for the corner of the map. And chaospyr is down here. Team 1's Ysball actually aware of what the comm is. I don't know if Team 2 is. Team 2 is definitely aware of where chaospyr is, so we'll try to keep track of that. And we do see Ysball's up here trying to build as many torp launchers as he can. Probably not going to work. The invasion into the snowman's position is over, and he's actually out of the game entirely. And here comes the nuke. 1 and 2. That was probably a little tense. Is he trying to ground fire the comm? He did get a little bit of splash damage there. So I don't know about that. Oh, and I missed it. I was afraid I would miss it, but 45 minutes on the clock. There goes Team 1's Ysball to the torpedo spam from the Yasnos and the Atlantis. And and there goes Team 1's player of chaospyr's comm as well. Looks like torp bombered out of existence. He built 1 T2 PD emplacement, and that just got absolutely denied. So it's just down to 1 comm now from Team 1, and that is DeTan. Again, Team 1 has a YOLO, If Team 2 targets the comm now, that is a win. But I think it might be a win anyways for Team 2, just considering all of the everything happening. No more battleships happening for Team 1 over here. There's just not that much left for Team 1 at this point. Might want to actually he might want to stay on land, because if he's on the water, he's probably dead. But here comes some whalers inbound, and they knew where the comm has been for at least some time. But here we come with the whalers. Again, if he dips in the water, he's dead from the Atlantis. If he stays on land, he's dead by the whalers, and that is gonna be it. Team 1 loses all of their comms. That is the end of the game. 46 minutes. A little bit of a shorter game today. It is nice to have a little bit more of an appetizer than a full course meal sometimes. But that is the game here. Team 2 wins it in a flawless victory manner. Not just because, again, all of them are still in the game, because they could die even with their comms, but all of their comms are still in the game as well. So if it would have been a regular type of custom game, then it would have still been a flawless victory. But anyway, nice game here by both teams. It just came down to, honestly, not necessarily APM, because those two players are still in the game, but Team 2, I think, ecoed just a little bit too much than Team 1. That nuke, though, not that one. This nuke from Team 2's player, Brammel, was very good. Very, 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 very good. Wiped out the air grid, wiped out the nuke that was being built. Such a huge win there, and then that kind of set up Team 2 for success later on. There wasn't a lot of air for Team 1 or Team 2 to deal with, so they could kind of focus on other things. And then, of course, just the spam from both teams of those Atlantis experimental aircraft carriers / subs. So, yeah, that doesn't help. But anyway, 46 minutes on the clock. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. Again, MVP, probably Brammel's nuke. Honestly, that's probably MVP right there. And again, it is very rare to see a game ender, no less, online and not destroyed, and that's the team that lost. Very rare that it's like still actually active. It's not destroyed or anything, or being rebuilt or anything. It's still actually doing stuff, and it just fired a YOLO moments ago. So hopefully everybody enjoyed. If you didn't, let me know. If you did, let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching the very end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.